Welcome to GODSpeed, where truth meets life in under 10 minutes. I'm AK, and this is hope for your journey.
In a large crowd, there are few things more comforting than hearing someone say your name with care. Because as people, we desire to be seen, not just noticed, but known. And there's something powerful about being recognized, not for what you do or what people think about you, but for who you actually are. Jesus is entering Jericho. In its time, this was well known as a wealthy city. In modern day, you could see it as a Las Vegas, Dubai, or London. The city was also a hub for collecting taxes. And unfortunately, tax collectors were known as people to take more than they were supposed to in order to enrich themselves. So stories and myths about Jesus have spread far before his arrival in this town, which led to curiosity and a large crowd. So we'll pick up the story here. This comes from Luke chapter 19, verses 1 through 10. Jesus entered Jericho and made his way through the town. There was a man there named Zacchaeus. He was the chief tax collector in the region, and he had become very rich. He tried to get a look at Jesus, but he was too short to see over the crowd. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore fig tree beside the road, for Jesus was going to pass that way. When Jesus came by, he looked up at Zacchaeus and called him by name. "Zacchaeus," he said, "quick, come down. I must be a guest in your home today." Zacchaeus quickly climbed down and took Jesus to his house in great excitement and joy, but the people were displeased. "He has gone to be the guest of a notorious sinner," they grumbled. Meanwhile, Zacchaeus stood before the Lord and said, "I will give half my wealth to the poor, Lord, and if I've cheated people on their taxes, I will give them back 4 times as much." Jesus responded, "Salvation has come to this home today, for this man has shown himself to be a true son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and save those who are lost." I want us to look at 3 observations from this encounter that can transform how we see ourselves. Get perspective, allow closeness, and be changed by relationship. First, get perspective. See it for yourself and go above or around the opinions of others. Think back just a second to when you were a little bit smaller, and there were some things that were just hard for you to see and hard for you to reach. Sometimes I still feel that way and struggle to understand or see the bigger picture, and it makes Zacchaeus relatable. See, in this story, he had a problem. He wanted to see, but he was short and the crowd was big, and I imagine he could have just listened to what others were saying about Jesus. He could have asked for their opinions or secondhand stories. He could have used his money to try and buy a better spot. But instead, he did something that seems ridiculous to a man, but makes perfect sense to the curious kid in me. He climbed a tree. Consider that, a wealthy, powerful man in his community, the chief tax collector, someone with status and influence. He's climbing a tree like a little kid just to catch a glimpse of Jesus. He was willing to look foolish to see for himself. And sometimes getting the right perspective means going around other people's opinions. It means doing what it takes to see for yourself, even if it looks unconventional or others don't understand. Zacchaeus didn't let his circumstances, his height, or the crowd size keep him from pursuing what he needed to see. Next, we have to allow closeness. And here's where the story gets beautiful. So Zacchaeus climbed the tree, hoping to see Jesus from a distance. But Jesus had other plans. He looked up and calls Zacchaeus by name and invites him. Jesus didn't just acknowledge. Jesus saw him. He knew who he was. And more than that, he wanted to be with him. Notice that Jesus says, I must be a guest in your home today. This wasn't random. Jesus was looking for him. For those who consider ourselves Christians or people who wonder about this God of Christianity and why he might be different, it's this. The heart of a God who doesn't wait for us to get ourselves together before he comes close. He pursues us. He calls us by name. He invites himself into our mess, our homes, our lives, but we have to allow it. We just have to be willing to say yes, even if we feel unworthy or when others question it. The crowd grumbled because they thought Zacchaeus was too much of a sinner for Jesus to be associated. But Jesus didn't come for people who had it all figured out, who think they're perfect and already good enough. He came for people who were lost and wanted to be found. Final thing, be changed by the relationship. Something profound happened when Zacchaeus landed in Jesus' presence. He wasn't coerced or shamed, but the presence of Jesus changed him from the inside out. It made him want to make things right. It makes me think about some of my friends like John or my mentor T. Ray, who carry themselves in such a positive and high manner that it makes you want to act differently. Through them, I saw how being around certain people impact your actions, your language, your mannerisms. You desire to be different because of how they live. And so when you spend time with someone who challenges you to be better, who sees the best in you, who loves you despite knowing your flaws, it changes you. And that's what we watch happen to Zacchaeus. Being in Jesus' presence didn't condemn him or discourage him, but pulled him to new heights. Zacchaeus went from being a man who took from people to a man who gave generously, from someone who cheated to someone who offered to pay back 4 times what he owed. That's the power of being in relationship. It transforms you. And here's something beautiful that you wouldn't know unless you studied it a little bit. The name Zacchaeus means pure or righteous one. The man who was known as a notorious sinner, who became rich because he cheated people, who was despised by his community. And on this day, Jesus looked past what people had known Zacchaeus as and saw him for who he was born to be. He called him by name, a name that means something good. And that encounter changes everything. In conclusion, I want you to know that Jesus is still looking for people in crowds. He still calls people by name. He still wants proximity with those who feel far from him. But will you allow him close? Will you allow the relationship to change you? He knows my name. Oh, how you walk with me. And oh, how you talk to me. God, thank you for seeing me and choosing me. May I never forget that you know my name.
I will always love you how I do. Let go of a prayer for you. Just a sweet word